Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Full Potential Show. I'm James Rick, and this is your number one non-boring source for personal development. And today we certainly have somebody very non-boring. This is John Hotowka, and that's how he said to say it, Hotowka. He is the after dinner and business speaker, the laughter dinner speaker. And today we're going to talk about a topic that's a little more serious, but with injected and infused with very much of his humorous energy, which I've already gotten exposed to already. That is the strength of one, the power for all. How to find, keep, and grow the strength to flourish even in hard times. You can learn more about John at hotowka.co.uk. That's HOTOWKA.co.uk. John, thanks for being on the show today.
James, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure, an honor, and a delight.
John, I heard you have a whole country referencing your last name in greeting now. Hotowka.
Hotowka.
How did you do it, John? How did you do it?
It's because what happened was I came on the James Rick show. All three people heard of it, and it was like viral marks in the whole country.
You didn't know they were so well connected, did you?
I know. It's you. It's all down to you, James.
All right, so we're going to dive in. Let's talk about the strength of one, the power for all. What does this mean to you, and why is this important that we talk about this today?
Right, okay. So for me, the reason why it's important for me is because in 2002, I had the worst year in business in my entire career. Up until that point, for 12 years, I ran a very successful business as a corporate magician, working at many conferences, using my magic to communicate a message, working at dozens of exhibitions around Europe, communicating my clients' messages. And because I actually did 3 gigs, would you believe just 3 gigs in a row that weren't quite good, I had a crisis in confidence.
What kind of exhibitions were these, John, that
right,
caused this? No,
you call them trade shows. That's right. You call them trade shows.
No. I'm giving you a hard time, John. All right, so you did these 3 exhibitions.
No, I did 1 or 2 more. I did 4 actually.
Okay.
The same amount of people that are listening to this program. I did. No, I did dozens over 12 years.
All right, so you had this bad time in your business. These bad experiences.
Yes. Bad experience. So I did 3 gigs in a row and I'm talking about conferences where I was talking to about 400 or 500 people at a time, and the show didn't work out too well. I didn't go down too well, and because I was in business all on my own, and because I'd surrounded myself with people who wouldn't or couldn't give me the support that I needed, I focused on the negative. And consequently, have you been in that situation where in my case, I would do, let's say, 100 presentations. I would do 94 really good presentations. I would do 3 absolutely, I'm talking about getting standing ovations. I'm talking about being carried around the room, shoulder high. I'm talking about people throwing flowers at me, women begging to have my babies.
And so now
sorry, I just realised something. That last bit was a dream I had. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I would do 3 presentations that were not all that good.
And then you were such a perfectionist, you'd focus on those 3, and it threw you off.
Exactly right. Forget the 97 good ones. We just focus on the 3 poor ones. So I went downhill. I had a crisis in confidence, and then since then it's been all about building up my confidence again. And okay, what did I learn over that period that will help other people? And the reason why it's pertinent today is because many of us are on our own. We either run a business on our own. There are many single people who are on their own. We're all too busy doing whatever we need to do. So it's how do we build our strength and resilience, especially during these times where let's face it, the economic climate can take away our confidence, can take away because we all have self-doubt from time to time.
Well, it's interesting because we seek, and when I say we, I mean humankind is hardwired, in my observation, it appears. I got to be correct in this perspective.
I think, generally speaking, I would agree with you.
That
it's all right, we can talk. Keep talking. Don't let me put you off.
That we are looking for external validation. We are looking for outward signs of approval. And when we perform really well, we can ride on that high. And we know that we perform really well based on the external feedback. And this not only applies for speakers and audiences, but it also applies in business. The external feedback we're looking for is financially, am I doing okay? Materially, do I have these things that are telling me that I'm doing okay? If I don't have these things, and a lot of people have been shaken because they're in a place now where financially and as a speaker, as a performer, you know, it's the feedback is not positive, but then that can shake your internal confidence.
Okay, I agree. Yeah.
At this point, you've started to develop more of this inner confidence, I think, in spite of the external challenges, and I think that's an important share.
Exactly right, and it's now that does not mean that things don't go. So there are occasions when things don't go well for me. That doesn't mean that I get everything absolutely right. What it means is, because in life, let's face it, things happen that we dislike. But what I found is that in this day and age, I now bounce back quicker. I've got little tools that will help me to get through that. I'm now looking at what is the reality that's going on. So for instance, let's say that I do a gig and it doesn't work. I don't think I connect with the audience. Now, there are times...
I mean, is that possible, John? I mean, is that really...
It's rare. It's very rare. Seriously, I'm glad to say it happens, but it's rare that it happens. I'm so glad to say. But it does happen. Or it may be that I don't get the reaction that I want to get from that audience. So what is it? It's a simple tool, and all it is, I say to myself, okay, so what could I have done better? Was it actually me that was at fault there? Because it could have been the audience. I mean, I was actually hired for one event where before me, the guy goes, well, yes, we're about half of you are going to lose your jobs. The directors are going to lose their options. We're going to take a pay cut. And now I'd like to introduce the motivational speaker.
The happy guy. He's going to make all of you laugh.
Exactly right. So what chance did I have? Now, I had no control over that. Okay, there was a way around it. I had to empathize with the audience. And how am I going to motivate an audience like that? Especially without any preparation anyway.
Yeah.
So it's asking questions like, okay, what actually did happen? Was I at fault? And if it was, what would I do different next time? And then letting it go. Because if I'm upset at something now, it's just going to ruin the rest of my day. We're human beings. We're going to have, for instance, at one time it would take me a week to bounce back, and I'm not exaggerating there. Now it might take me a couple of hours when I'm going through this process.
But walk me through this process again. No, this is good because you start with assessing the situation.
Okay, let's assess the situation. Yeah. Was it my fault? It could have been the circumstances. If it's something that I could not have controlled, then I've got to let it go. I've got to think about, okay, what could I have done differently next time? And then next time, just log it into your head and then just get on with it, because you can't do anything about it now. It's in the past. So, okay, you have to apologize, I don't know.
And this is really important because I think I do this so much now, it's almost unconscious. What, you can't hear me?
No, I can hear you. I'm just
now?
Doing sign language for the blind people. Yeah, that's good.
All right, so you go through this process of assessing the situation first and saying, is it my fault or was it the circumstance? If it was the circumstance, I got to let it go. I can't control that at all. If it was me...
And if the same situation is going to occur in future, if you think you're going to be in the same situation in future, what are you going to do differently?
What are you going to do different? How are you going to respond differently to this circumstance that you cannot control? Very important distinction. And then if it was me, then what am I going to do differently next time to improve? And what I like about this is it moves you very quickly to a solution-oriented focus instead of dwelling.
Exactly.
When you dwell on the thing that caused you to feel the negative emotion, you are stuck there. You aren't moving anywhere. You're at the bus station, sad that you missed the bus, not catching the next bus. But when you are focused on what am I going to do differently, how will I respond to the situation differently, yeah, you might have missed the bus, but you're already on the next one. You moved on. You're out of that area of dwelling. Right. Yeah.
Because what I found was, and the focus is very much a part of one of the principles that I talk about. Because sometimes we focus on, so for instance, let's say that we're going to climb to the top of a mountain. All right, fine. We're going to climb. The goal is to get to the top of the mountain. Now, that doesn't mean that we ignore the moat with the piranha fish in it. because we've got to get over that moat with the piranha fish. But we don't focus on the
It's very
piranha.
hard to climb with piranha surrounding your body.
It is, but maybe we can, it is very difficult. You're not very aerodynamic either. But anyway, but what I'm saying is by focusing on the main goal but being aware of the negatives, then we're more likely to find a solution for what it is that we want to achieve. So for instance, in 2002, and this also happened to me a couple of years ago at the beginning of the recession, I focused on the business that I was not getting. I follow these principles and I fell into the same trap. Forgive me, I'm a human being, right? But I focused on the work I wasn't getting. I would focus on my resources that were diminishing. And then when I realized what I was focusing on, because what we focus on we get more of, I thought, hang a second, whoa, I need to focus on the resources I do have. I need to focus on the networks that I do have. I need to focus on the value that I can give people. I still need to be aware of those negatives or the things that don't serve us, because we need to overcome those challenges. But we need to focus on the big picture. What is it that we can do?
Great ideas. And I want to just run through this whole process because it's very important, and you've kind of got it into a formula. I'm very physical in my metaphorical description here.
I've noticed.
Hotowka. Hotowka. Karate chop. You didn't know that. I have a martial arts background. Not
really. I have an origami background.
All right, so we've got assess the situation. If it was my fault, what can I do better the next time? If it was beyond my control, how am I going to respond differently to that situation in the future?
If I can.
If I can. If I can't, I'm going to let it go as soon as it comes up because I can't control it. What am I going to do about it? And then you're talking about focusing on the goal but being aware of the negative instead of just positive thinking, which I think is where positive thinking gets a bad rap. It's like, you know,
Exactly.
You pessimists say, well, I'm a realist. You know, I'm focused on what's negative. And they usually have an accent like that too, don't they?
All of them.
I'm being real. But they're not being real. They're just focused on the negative, which is real. And it's cool because you're saying be aware of the negative, but focus on the goal. Focus on the positive. And in this case, in your business, focus on what you do have instead of what you don't have. That allows you to be incredibly resourceful with what you do have.
Exactly.
Great insights, great ideas. The website is hotowka.co.uk. You spell that HOTOWKA.co.uk. And where can they, I know you got a free gift that you're giving away to folks. Can they just get that off your website?
Yeah, if they go to my website and they're on one of the navigation buttons, if they download, sorry, not download, on a drop-down menu, it'll say Wit and Wisdom Collection.
The Wit and Wisdom Collection.
I believe in giving it a bit of wisdom, but it's important to have a little bit of fun as well.
Well, and I think you do that very well, John. This is the Wit and Wisdom Collection full of inspirational, thought-provoking, entertaining stories and experiences in life and the lessons learned. And is your formula in the ebook?
Actually, no, it isn't. Not at the moment, it isn't. No, this is all being formulated, and I'm sure there'll be a book out later on in the year or something like that.
You should. I mean, at least post it on your website. We're going to post it on our live Ustream. We're going to post it when we do the final production of the video. Really great stuff. It's really methodical in how you get somebody to move their focus from dwelling on the negative to a solution-oriented focus. And I think folks that are happy and positive do this automatically, do this almost unconsciously. But here is proof that you can change your thought patterns. You can change your thinking. How are you now with this formula?
And there's one thing I need to point out very, very quickly, and that is it's all about awareness. We need to be aware of what's going on in our heads. And that's the start of changing those thought patterns, the awareness of what we're doing.
Unless you set your intention on being aware of what's going on in there, it's just going to happen, right? It just runs like a machine on autopilot.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right.
Great stuff. John Hotowka.
James Rick.
Very great having you on the show, John. We'll let you know when the main thing posts live. But for now, you've got 4 very excited viewers right now that on. I'm referring to our live beta launch of the Full Potential Show, and I told John he had 3 viewers on. He's like, he was still, he thought I just meant 3 viewers in total, and he was still rearing to go. I love it. What a great attitude.
No, there's 4 because the 4th one's my mother.
Oh, your mother's on there now.
She's on there now.
So you got 4 raving fans right now, John.
I've got 4. I can't believe it. It's amazing.
John, a real pleasure having you on, buddy. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye. Well, that concludes this week's episode of The Full Potential Show, your number one non-boring source for personal development. I'm James Rick, and if you want to get more positive programming for your brain absolutely free on a weekly basis, just visit fullpotential.com.
If you like The Full Potential Show, you're going to love the Full Potential Club. What would you like most as a Full Potential Club member? Be 2 to 3 times more productive? Do what you're passionate about? Have more energy? Reduce your work hours? Travel the world? Enjoy an amazing lifestyle on a frugal budget? What if you could do them all? James Rick has been there and done it in ways that few people have. For anyone serious about taking their life or business to the next level, you know you've got to do more than just watch. You've got to do. Join James Rick and other like-minded people for an incredible $10 a month at fullpotential.com/club. Be educated. Be empowered. Be the best version of you. fullpotential.com/club. Try it free for 30 days.